I mean, if you ain't doing it for Lil Saint, are you really doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Byron, where you get your gear? Punk Star Rock? Yeah, your pants is riding so high, I thought you was wearing shorts. Leave me alone, please. Hey, knock it off.
So, A Different World was the first time I had done a sitcom. And I think I had to be like 10 or something like that. It was like the dopest experience, like with the live audience and stuff like that, because, you know, growing up, you watch it on TV, but you don't really, know how it is until you actually are in it. So I did that, and actually the transition from music or Different World to Sister Sister, I did the Oscars. I danced on the Oscars for Debbie Allen back then. My business partner, Chris Stokes, manager back then, he was friends with Debbie Allen, so she reached out to him, and because I was a good dancer when I got in the group and everything like that, so I danced on the Oscars. We did the whole Aladdin thing that year, and that's when I met Tia and Tamara and their mom Darlene and their brother Taj, because their brother Taj was also in the dancing the Oscars with us. So right after that, I was auditioning for a bunch of TV shows. Like I said, I did Bebe's Kids first, then A Different World, and then originally the whole group, Immature, was supposed to be on Sister Sister. We came into ABC for a meeting and they loved us and everything like that, but they didn't really have space for the whole group. So what ended up happening is I got the audition for Roger. I ran into Darlene, Tia and Tamara's mom, on my way to my audition. And she was like, I'll put in a good word for you. I was like, you do that. So, maybe she put in a good word. You never know.
Only the losers ask girls out this early?
Hey, have you guys heard about the dance this Saturday night?
Exhibit A.
I think for me, being Roger was so exciting in the beginning. I was 12 years old when I got the role. Immature was just starting with the success of Never Lie, and we had just started to become like this huge, teen pop sensation, and I was doing Sister Sister at the same time, and I was really excited about it. It was real dope. It was like, everything I'd always wanted. I love Steve Urkel on Family Matters, so I always wanted to play a character like Steve Urkel, like the scene stealer character that comes in and just, is like the main character that everybody loves. So I felt like Roger was that, and I was excited about it. But as I got a little bit older, music was always my first passion, and because of that, I felt like the show, because of that character, was kind of typecasting me to just be that, and it became such a hit and so popular. The character was so big, I felt like I could only do that, and I didn't want that, so I ended up leaving the show, I think after year 4, and because I just felt like, career-wise, I felt like it was the smartest thing for me, because I didn't want to be Roger, playing Roger at 16, 17, 18, and I think it was the best career choice for me. Definitely. I think it allowed me to move on to other things. I think if I would have stayed being Roger, I would have probably just been in that,
You had the tagline.
Go home, Roger. And it travels with me for the rest of my life. It's always gonna be wherever I go, someone's gonna yell out, go home, Roger. And I don't mind, because it was such a big part of culture and a big part of history. That show was so huge, and I don't take away from doing it. I would do it all over again if I could. Love being on the show, love the girls, Tim, Jack K. It was a dopest experience for me, but I think I left at the right time. Originally, You Got Served, I wasn't supposed to be Elgin. I wasn't gonna, the movie was written for Dave Scott, which is our choreographer, Genuine and Aaliyah. So originally Chris wrote the movie for them as the cast, and then Wade Robson, and it was like a dance thing. It was the movie was called Dance, and that's why my name was Elgin, because that's Genuine's real name is Elgin. So originally I wasn't gonna do. It was like cut to 7 years later. B2K's out, they're popping, they're hot, they're on Sony. And we were doing the movie independently, but then the executives at Sony was like, oh, we got a division over at Sony Pictures. Since B2K is gonna be in it, we should probably look into that. So I remember the executive over at Screen Gems, Chris Stokes went in to show him the idea of how he wanted to do the movie. And he showed him our That Girl video. And he was like, this is how I wanted like the dancers, and I'm kind of just showcasing how he wanted like his vision. And he was like, who's that guy like doing the video? And he was like, oh, that's my artist, Marques Houston, whatever. He was like, I want him to be the star of the movie. So that's actually how I got the role. I think it's beautiful. Like the fact that it's been 20 plus years or however long, I don't know how many years it's been, but just to be able to still be relevant and still people still like, you know, love You Got Served and know to what You Got Served did for the culture, what it did for dance, what it did for the dance community, all the TV shows that have come out, all the movies that have come out after that, just everything. Like, you know, to be a part of something that's so big like that, that's changed history, is just, it's always a blessing to be able to, you know, be a part of something like that.
How often do you do a little thing?
Every day. I mean, if you ain't doing it for Lil Saint, are you really doing it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on now.
Mom, is that you? Oh, yes, it's me, baby. Mom, I missed you, Mom. Yes, sweet boo-boo. Hey, Miss Harris.
So House Party 3 we did, of course, and that was another cult classic, Kid and Play. And when we did House Party 4, it was actually Chris's first movie he directed. So we did it as an independent, and New Line picked it up and revamped it as a house party. And you know, that's why I was like House Party 4 down to the last minute. Originally it was down to the last minute. So, you know, that to me was dope because we got to, like, it was fun. Like, we were just having fun. Like, you know, we just called the homies and made a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like everybody that was in our camp at the time was doing wardrobe and doing it. And we was just like, let's do it, you know? And Chris was like, he had directed like, I think 100-something music videos. So he was like, you know, I want to take my stab at directing movies. And we got the crew together and we just did it. And it ended up working, you know? House Party 4 was dope.
Sir.
Kevin, our credit cards are maxed and we're out of petty cash. How are we gonna open this place and throw our big party if we can't rely on the electricity?
You can't.
Man, who are you anyway?
The city building inspector.
The city building inspector?
That's right. And I'm here to shut you down.
When we did You Got Served, and I'm probably skipping. When we did You Got Served, I remember because like growing up watching Will Smith, Jamie Foxx be able to do music and television and movies at the same time, you know, once you get that hit movie, you kind of just stick with the movie. So I remember, you know, telling my whole team, like, I just want to stick to movies. My agent, Chris, I'm like, I just want to do movies. I don't want to do any more TV because that kind of like, I felt like back then that when you did TV back then, it kind of like you could get overexposed, you know, and I was like, I just want to do the movie. So it was an interesting story. My agent was like, they want you to audition for this show called Cuts. It's like a spin-off of 101, gave me the whole spin. I was like, I don't really want to do anything with TV right now because I'm doing the movies. I got like 10 offers after You Got Served to do movies, and I'm like, I just want to focus on that. But it was interesting because Flex was a friend of mine, Flex Alexander, and he actually pushed for me to come in to the interview, and it was like, just come into the interview. And I remember I went into the interview, I sat with Benny Richburg, Unetta Boone, and Flex, all the producers and the executive producers of the show. And I just sat with them and met with them, and they were talking about how they wanted to, you know, the direction they wanted to go on for the show. And because of that meeting and my relationship with Flex, I ended up doing it. And it was like a thing with Ray J, because Ray J had auditioned for the show as well. So like for a long time, he had kind of thought that like I took the role from him and stuff like that, but I had never even known that he was like auditioning or anything like that. I came in like on a whole other like platform for it. So I ended up doing Cuts, and we did, I think, a year. The first season was like a mid-season replacement, then we ended up doing one season, and then we we got kind of lost in the shuffle of the I think it was the WB and the UPN mix when they did the CW, and of course our show got cut. But I think Cuts was dope. Cuts was hilarious, and that I loved Cuts because it gave me an opportunity to be a comedian and be funny as an adult. You know, a lot of people were used to me being funny and stuff on Sister Sister, but I was a kid. And I think with Cuts, it gave me the opportunity for people to see me as an adult, you know, being able to handle comedy and be funny. So I think, you know, Cuts that was a great experience for me too. Like sitcoms to me is just like, cause I love to be funny. People don't know that. I love to be funny. I love comedy. I love humor. And you know, a lot of times in this industry, you don't really get to be as funny as you want to be, you know, because you have to be so serious, and like most roles are serious. And then I got into, you know, all these now writing and producing like thrillers and stuff like that. It just never got back to the comedy, but I would love to do a sitcom again. But you know, sitcoms are kind of like, they don't really do sitcoms like that no more, right? Just like kind of like, they got a couple on Netflix, but like it's not how it used to be, like, you know what I mean? I learned at a very early age that love isn't for everyone, so I just devoted all my attention and my time into the family empire. And now I have to find something that I don't even believe in or lose the one thing that I do. There was a time in my career where I was kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted to do music or acting or anything like that. So I had like agent after agent. I was going on auditions, and I kind of felt like, because I'd done so much, because in my past, like Sister, Cuts, you know, You Got Served, I felt like, you know, and this could have been my ego at the time, like I felt like I shouldn't be auditioning. People should know my work. They should, you know, hire me. And I just wouldn't get hired for any roles. And then like the roles I was going out for didn't really match, you know. Like I went out for this role as like the description was like 6'4" basketball player. I'm like, I'm not a 6'4" basketball player. So, you know, I think I remember talking to Chris, and I was like, look, he wasn't really directing a lot. Hollywood wasn't really hiring a lot of African American directors, writers, and we was just like, let's just do it ourselves. You know, I'm like, I have enough experience with writing. You know, I have enough experience with acting. You have enough experience with directing and writing. Let's just start our own production company and just kind of go from there. And then our friend Kathy Hughes, who's like a mom to both of us, she was starting up her like film division with TV One, and she came to us and she was like, you know, will you guys do this movie for me? And we were like, at first it was like, because we used to these big budget movies and stuff like that, and Chris was like, a TV film, like I don't even know what that even looks like. But it was like, you know, he was like, I'll try it, of course, because it's Kathy, you know, that's mom, so, you know, we'll do anything for Kathy. So we ended up doing our first movie. It was called Will to Love, and I had just worked with Keisha Knight Pulliam on a movie in Atlanta like a couple months before that. So I called her, and I called another friend of mine, Dre. I'm like, we doing our first movie. You know, we calling in favors, because, you know, You Got Served is this big budget with millions of dollars, but this TV movie wasn't that, you know. So we started, I think it was like 100,000. We started our first film and called in favors, and everybody did it, and it ended up being a successful movie. And then we went from there to the next one, and then we moved over to BET and started their whole film division, and then went from, it just kept going from there. Because I had the experience with acting, Chris has had the experience with directing and writing, I'm like, I'll just star in all the movies. So we started with Will to Love, and then we went to Weekend with the Family. And I remember I called Carucci. I was like, you know, we have this role for you. We want you to do it. And, you know, because we were trying to build our brand. So, I had a lot of relationships with social media people, and Chris had a lot of relationships with actresses and actors. And we were trying to build footage films at that point. So we were like, let's just reach out to everybody we can that we know that's our friends, that are talented, that can, you know, jump in these movies with us. So like I said, it was comedy. So Weekend with the Family was a comedy. Ended up doing really well for TV One, and then we had moved to BET with Only for One Night, and that movie like just obliterated every, like, just, it was the biggest movie in like history of history. It was like the highest rated movie. It was just like, no one expected that. So once we did that, we were like, oh, okay, we're on to something with thrillers. So, you know, BET came to us and asked us to, you know, lead their film division, because that movie, you know, led into them doing a whole film division. So we did like 4 movies for BET, and it went into like BET Plus and everything like that. And then we had our show BET Plus. We had Sacrifice on BET Plus. We had our first television series there. And then Chris knew one of the owners of Fox Television, and they called him and they were like, you know, Chris, what are you doing with a couple of your projects? Because we just got this new streaming company called Tubi, and it's ground up. It's nothing's on it right now. We want to see if you can help. We've seen that you helped break BET Plus. You've done all this with, you know, everything in your movies, and they're doing so well. We want you to help you, you know, see if you can help us break Tubi. So Chris was like, okay, you know, and we did We did it was Howard High. It was a musical. And it didn't really do too well. You know, we thought it was gonna do really, really good. It was music driven. It was dope, everything, you know, but it didn't, you know, I don't think it performed because, you know, people just weren't used to that, you know, that market or that place. So then we came up with Stepmother, and I wasn't even originally supposed to do that movie. Because I was like, you know, I did a lot of the beginning movies, but I'm kind of backing up a little bit. I'm gonna go more into like the behind the scenes, writing, producing. And Chris was like, you should do the movie. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do it, no problem. And we had already worked with Erica Mena previously on a couple of our movies before. And Chris picked Erica. He was like, I'm telling you, she's perfect for this role. It'll be dope. And we didn't know what was about to happen with that one. And it just, Stepmother came out, and again, like, obliterated the numbers on Tubi's platform and just put Tubi on the map. And ever since then, it was like, you know, it was the thriller guys. I'm just grateful because, like, you know, when you can do something, you know, and be successful for something that you love and that you're passionate about, and it really works, you know, that's a beautiful feeling. And I think, you know, just coming from those times of me auditioning and me, you know, us, you know, just kind of like as filmmakers saying, let's just do this ourselves and let's go, you know, and to see it become such a successful film company, and you know, now we have deals at other places and everything like that. Just to see it, you know, go from here to there is just, it's beautiful. And I just thank everybody, because, you know, we really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support that we get for all our, you know, all the people that support us. So, you know, thank you all the time for that.